All right. All right. I am DJXXL, California Fleet DJs, also 97.3 FM, The Source, along with Straight Official Magazine, straightofficial.com. And tonight we have Mr. Matthew M-80 Markoff. Man, what's good with you today, my brother?
I'm great, guys. I appreciate you having me. Lots to talk about. A lot of great albums, that are just now starting to circulate and are planned for next year. And of course, I just dropped my new book, which is the talk of the town.
Well, within that vein, um, why at one point did you not want to be an artist no more, or did you just feel like you was done being an artist and you wanted to do something else in the game?
Well, okay, so I started as an artist at age 13, and that's the same time that I knew eventually one day I'd be an executive. It was when I read one of the very early copies of The Source or Double XL, I believe it was The Source, where they were interviewing the Locks individually. And whether it was Styles or Jadakiss, they're talking about, the artists are young, so the deals are essentially predatory in nature. And even when that's not the intention, it's like, you might have attorneys, but the attorneys are essentially representing the interests of the label or the parties issuing the contracts. And the gist of the interview was like we could sell a million records and not potentially know where our next meal is coming from. But it doesn't sound like the people behind the business of the music ever have that same financial issue. So reading that when I just started as an artist, I'm like, well, I know I'm smart, like I'm school smart, I'm street smart, and I don't ever want to sell myself short. I don't want to give up one thing for the other. So that allowed me to maintain being M-80 as the artist and really knock out all the goals I want to. Like I've had four of my own albums on the Billboard Rap Top 100. I've toured all of America and some countries far and wide. Broke a Guinness World Freestyle record as an artist and funded a secondary middle school in the Bodo River states of Nigeria as a charitable event. So I did it all as an artist, but at the same time, from an education standpoint, from a work standpoint, proceeded like how best I could get my footing in as an A&R and executive. So when I would meet these other artists, like famous artists, while I was M-80 the rapper, I would never sell them on the like, I rap and you rap, we should work together. It was always, I'd like to stay in contact with you because I fuck with your music and I'm going to law school for intellectual property and civil litigation, advanced contracts, and I feel like I could really benefit your program. So that's an approach that most artists aren't used to hearing, especially at concerts and just around the way. So that really gave me the positioning I needed to be, and I didn't have to sacrifice being an artist until like I felt like it. So my last project as a rapper came out in 2019 and ended up being my highest charting project of my entire career. It debuted on the Billboard Rap Top 40, toured the Midwest for it, and it was
Right.
the most scaled back of my work. So every time I pick up a new client, like a DMX or a Wu Tang or a Tech Nine or an E40 or Snoop or Corrupt or whoever it might be, even if I wanted to be like, okay, I want to make my like say my last album, whatever is my next album is going to be, that's it. But every that has to take a back seat to me representing the interests of the client and really knowing I'm rendering 100% of my job.
No doubt. So within that vein, just for our readers' sake, if you were to tell somebody, just how to get into the executive role within this game, what types of things would you tell them to
A
try to
lot of
do?
people ask me how do you go about becoming an A&R? So I tell them like if you're in school, you want to take business and music classes, um, anything you can do that is bettering your footing as far as understanding intellectual property, as far as understanding the entertainment business, and really like corporations. So that's from an education side of things. But to become a successful A&R and really avail yourself to having talent discover you and you working with talent like vice versa, it's about having
Absolutely.
a good ear. And that's really it. So it's like either you're born with the ear to pick like discernible beats, discernible artists of like amazing talent and help and be willing to put the work ethic in to help the artist or artist plural really pop. That's what it takes to become an A&R on your own 10 toes. Traditionally, an A&R role is something assigned to a record label. So if you take an A&R job at a label, which I've been offered many, from the likes of E1 and RBC and Def Jam and so on and so forth. Like your job in that capacity is to go find talent, bring them back to the label and the executives for them to decide whether or not they want to have any kind of follow-up interaction with the artist. I run the world's first A&R firm where artists and labels hire me alike to do a myriad of services, including helping the artist construct their album, handle A&R administration, which is essentially all things legal, shop their record deals, shop their distribution deals. And that's like the quintessential cornerstone of it all.
Right.
Everything after that is like PR coordination, marketing coordination, advertisements, touring, tour management, booking, licensing, all that stuff. So it's like I never wanted to be the label head. I always wanted like my own lane, and that's what the A&R firm is. So a lot of time when artists like DM me like, "Oh man, this guy's so talented, you should sign him." That's not what I do. Like artists sign me, labels are signing me to further the artist.
Which makes
That's
them
dope.
so
Yes, sir. Thank you.
No doubt. So, when you look at your success as a rapper, right, and you got to that Billboard level, how did that make you feel? And what types of things did you have to do as an artist that most artists don't know to be able to get your music to that level?
I experienced 3 of those Billboard placements when I lived in Indiana, and it didn't make me feel significant. It did
Right.
not make me feel like wow or special. And I think that was more so because I felt like a product of the environment. Where in indie, I don't know if it remains true now because I see way more talent seeing positive light and essentially
Right.
mainstream fame, like your what's her name, Georgiana, your
Okay.
Fresh Does It's, your Oreo Joneses, Bless, like these are good examples of like dudes that are really breaking out of that Indiana shell. But the only people who had done that before me that were really like constant like residents of Indiana living in the city were like the Mud Kids at one point in time, Rhyme Fest, and Indiana just has a sense of like making you feel like everyone's just the same. Everyone's just like a commoner that's okay with just kind of getting by and nothing's wow. And everything you say that, like when I first moved to Indy from San Francisco after law school, people
Right.
would ask me what I do. And I tell them, I'm an A&R, I work with Wu-Tang and Snoop and so on and so forth. And it's like, no one would believe me. And
Right.
yet I'm telling you 100% the truth. So when I recognized that, I'd cut like, the theatrics of it, making me look fucking like cool and just be like, I work in music
Right.
because I don't give a fuck what you think of me. And I know that I don't need to impress you. And I know what I'm telling you is the truth. So I think that's a big stigma of the Midwest where people just expect mediocre results. So therefore, it's not really like nurturing of greatness, nurturing of,
Right.
of like positive creativity and extensive results. So it wasn't until I moved back to LA from Indiana, where I was like, okay, this is going to be my permanent base. Where I started taking way more pride in a lot of my accomplishments, and the best of my artist days were essentially behind me. Though I did have, 2019, I was here in LA when I had that the Billboard Top 40 EP with the project called the Toledo EP.
Correct.
But I really come into my own as an A&R as an executive because I started doing it on my own by A&Ring my own albums,
Right.
taking what I learned in college and in law school to working with bigger name artists that I would avail myself to, like members of Wu-Tang Clan, Corrupt, Snoop, Redman, so on and so forth, to the point where it's like I became the household name in the A&R game.
Okay.
Not to, not for like giggles and shit, but like I took a P. Diddy approach to my role as an A&R and really put myself out there with the artists. Like, the joke was like, well, if you don't want your executives dancing in the videos and blah, blah, blah. I was in the video. I was at the clubs. I was in the studios. I was as hands-on as possible. So my name would ring synonymous with the artist names. And that was a big breakthrough for me because I'm not the only A&R in the game. There's thousands of us.
Right.
But because I put myself out there in the limelight with the artists, my name comes up more time than not when people are like, I need to find a good A&R. I need to find a good project manager. I need to find a good booking agent. Like, oh, M-80, 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 because I availed myself to be in the limelight with the artist as opposed to just playing the background role, which is traditionally the case.
Word up. All right. Well, let's get into a little bit about the book. There was one person that you mentioned in these last couple sentences, which was Rhymefest, that you covered in the book.
Oh yeah.
Can you give us a little intel on that chapter and just how that situation went down?
Always liked Rhyme Fest. Like I hung out with him quite extensively when he lived in Indiana. It was managed by DJ Indiana Jones, who's on my shirt. In fact, I'm actually wearing one of DJ Indiana Jones' old G-Shock watches right now, just to fit the theme of my mentor. Um, Indiana Jones is the one who brokered Rhyme Fest record deal. Indiana Jones was the one who connected us, and like Fest fucked him over on the money side of things, and I lost all respect for Rhyme Fest at that time because he was the one who connected the dots. Yes, Ryan Fest was already friends with Kanye and shit, but Indiana Jones connected the Mark Ronson dots. Indiana Jones connected the Jive record dots and his first tours and all that shit. So it's like I didn't respect that at all as a man. Like there's a lot of people out there in the world who have a lot of negative things to say about me, but you don't
Right,
find anyone that says M-80 owes me money. Those people don't exist because I pay for all the work. That's why I have the world's largest admin catalog with verses and I have all the sign offs and stuff. So that's a common theme in my book of people being mad about my ownership of records and things of that nature. But Rhymefest and I would see each other a few times after that, like, and I'm not like it being like clubs and stuff. So I'm not about to sit here and politic with you over how you fucked my friend over before he,
right,
rest in peace, Indiana Jones. But Fest did this interview with like Windy City Creep in Chicago, literally just stealing another man's story and lying to the world. And it wasn't like a little white lie. It was a humongous, significant lie that could have insane ramifications. He lied and said he battled Eminem, and Eminem called him the N-word. Now, Eminem is impenetrable at this stage of his career. He's the GOAT. There's nothing you can say or do to cancel him, to affect his sales, whatever, whatever. So let's say it was me Rhymefest was talking about. That's how I looked at it. I
okay,
can be canceled. I can lose this livelihood. It could all go away like that.
right,
Ryan Fest did in fact battle Eminem at one point in time of his career, but the story he stole was a whole other guy's story where Eminem was using these bars and blah blah blah. And it's like that didn't happen to Ryan Fest. Eminem never used the N word against you. So it didn't make sense to me because Ryan Fest could have said his own story. I battled Eminem, I won, or whatever, whatever. We could go look that up. But the crazy shit was they're actually making a documentary right now. Shout out to Mr. Dibbs for Scribble Jam where this took place, and no one like everyone thought, oh, M-80's being a hater, and I'm like, I'm not at all. People think I troll. People think I'm a hater.
right,
Everything I'm saying at all times is facts that I can find the receipts and back up. It's
for
never
sure.
just me talking to hear my own voice.
Right,
So I didn't like Fest for that shit. Then he was asked if he ever lost a battle to me, and Fest was like, I don't even know who that is. Dude, Fest might have been an amazing battle rapper in Chicago and Scribble Jam and stuff like that, but I
right,
know half a dozen or more people in Indiana, on the Indiana battle scene, myself included, that beat him. So for him to act like he didn't know who I was, like, bro, congratulations, like, you got all these awards, like Grammys, Tonys, Oscars, whatever, for writing for the people. I'm
right,
Grammy nominated with DMX. I have 50 plus Billboard Rap Top 100s to your two or three. Um, I have 25 plus gold and platinums. So it's like you can't look at me like I'm your son, and I'm not going to treat you like my son. But it's just little shit like that. And I almost forgot the kicker. He came to LA after the pandemic and made it a point. And this I thought was insanely dickheadish of him. Went to a restaurant and his bill was like $40
right,
and posted his receipt and said it was zero, like tip $0, 0 cents, because he thought the guy was slow with bringing him hot sauce. And it's like, dude, I donate like literally six figures a year for charitable means. Like when
right,
I come back to India, I treat 100 people to lunch, or
right,
pay single parents with children, their mortgages and rents, or buy gifts for those in need. And here Rhymefest, like, oh, look at my receipt. Like I left him a $0 tip, but I told him as a tip, like, be more punctual. Like you're a fucking dickhead, dude.
right,
The pandemic just ended. This person in the service industry probably went like 2 years with nothing. So I found out what the restaurant was. I went there. I tipped the server $100 on Rhymefest's $40 fucking bill, and I spread out another 50 or 100 amongst like various staff there. And Rhymefest is like, "You're a fucking dick." I'm like, I like it when I can turn people's fans. Because other people are like, yeah, Fest, that was real dickhead shit, you bro. Like, when you're blessed to make money, God gives you that blessing to bless others. It's not to hoard your blessings.
Right.
Okay, that's how I see it. Whether anyone else agrees or not, that's how I see it. So Fest is like, are you in LA? I'm like, obviously I am. I just went and paid the fucking tab for you, dickhead. So he's like, I'm gonna whoop your ass next time I see you. I said, bet. I'm gonna be here tonight at this event. I'm gonna put you on the guest list and I'll be by myself. Pull the fuck up. And he did not. So I'm the funniest man in the world because I actually I wanted the smoke and I put you on the list. I don't even want you to come out of pocket. There's a story in the book where I paid $20 to get in the Viper room to beat some dude's ass. So Best, of course, didn't show up, and I never heard from him. I was about to say I never heard from him again. He DM'd me like 6 months ago and was like, I understand why you lash out against me. Like, perhaps I haven't been a good mentor to you. Like, bro, Indiana Jones was my mentor. Brian Shafton's my mentor. Me and Andrew Barber are A-likes, Fake Shore Drive. You're nothing to me, dude. Like, I look at people like you so I know what to strive not to be like. That's how. Don't write me like, oh, I guess I could have been more nurturing of your career. My career has surpassed yours, dog. If we battled again today, I will still beat you. You are responsible. Kanye West put you in charge of running the Donda house, and you let it go to shit. Oh, well, Kanye wasn't paying me. Bro, sometimes it's not always about the money. I teach free A&R seminars every Tuesday for like 5, 6 years, free of charge. That's 52 hours a week. That's over 300 hours that I'm not billing any money for, that I'm not working for. That's why you do shit like that. Oh, Kanye didn't pay you this month. You didn't suck his teeth hard enough, you bitch ass motherfucker. That's how I look at that shit.
Word up. So, throughout your time in the game, do you feel like there are like some times that I don't know, maybe you would have took a different approach, you know what I mean, that you went hard on somebody, or do you feel like this just is what it is?
I went really hard on people when I lived in Indiana as the artist because a lot of people questioned like the moves I was making.
Right.
Like, remember, I knew when I first became an artist that one day I would segue into becoming the executive. I just didn't want to give up on my artist dreams. So I was paying people back then, like, members of Wu-Tang, even Rhymefest,
Right.
whoever, to be on my album because that's what they do for a living. That's their career.
Right.
I can't go look at my friend Mike who works at Foot Locker and be like, hook me up with some free shoes, bro. It doesn't work like that. So people used to really get on my case, like, oh, M-80's like buying himself a career. But guess what? Knowing I was segueing into the executive, all the people I paid to rap on my projects now have to pay me to work their records. It doesn't work any other way. Rakim pays me. Wu-Tang, Snoop, Corrupt, whoever, DMX. All right. So yeah, I went hard on a lot of people because I'm like, you motherfuckers are essentially hobbyists. You're just rapping because you had enough money to save up for a fucking computer program and a little studio mic. I'm doing this with the intentions of making it somewhere.
Right.
Like making a career of it as an artist, making a career of it as the A&R. So I don't regret going hard on these people because it was kind of like Indiana versus M-80 to me.
Yeah.
So when I was feeling that pressure, that's when I took my efforts back to my hometown of Toledo and made the Glass City album. It's all Toledo MCs, all Toledo producers, and me. Steve Ray's Walls, who has a chapter in the book, made a whole like Indiana album, basically like assembling people to ride against me. And if for those of you who haven't read the book, I'm gonna tell you like it is right here, right now. Anyone who was on that album, yeah, I fucked with your career, and that's why you didn't amount to shit.
Right.
There's a lot of you still 20 years later, like, damn, I'm the nicest. What the fuck happened? You wrote against me. And whether it's petty or whether it's just me being a fucking Don, I fucked your shit up.
No doubt.
And once you fuck shit up, you can't unfuck it.
No doubt.
So that's what that is. Go hop on a new C. Ray's Walls album when he gets out of prison for rape and sodomy.
Hey, Jay, what you got?
But no, I don't regret riding out on these dudes, and I'm glad that a lot of them have come back to apologize to me because I knew what I was doing then.
Right.
Like I was in it to make a career, bro. I didn't leave school, high school, college, law school every day until I made at least $100.
No doubt.
All right. Imagine that. I moved like 40, 50,000 units hand to hand. I was doing, and then that from there, I was selling out. I never performed in indie for less than like 3 Gs. Never. Now you got dudes that are just happy to get on shows that are getting like $50, $100, dude. I was laying the blueprint for what is going on right now, and I don't get the credit for it because I'm not still on the ground floor in indie. Just like I'm not. They could mention like a top Toledo 100 rappers list, and I'm never on it, but I've outsold the entire list as just an artist, not even with the A&R side of things. The A&R executive side of things, I'm over 19 million albums sold. Even as just M-80 the rapper, like, okay, but I'm not on the ground floor. So you guys go and pretend like everyone else is more important and more significant than me.
No
Men
doubt.
lie, women lie, but numbers don't.
For sure.
Correct.
Facts it is, man.
Correct.
M-80,
I'm
bro.
gonna tell you all this real quick.
Yeah, what you got?
The number 2 album of 2024 in rap, Rakim, A&R by me behind Eminem. The number 1 album, Wu-Tang Clan album, A&R by M-80. Both these. So it's like my run has been crazy the past couple of years, you know, like, and I attribute a lot of like my drive in the past 5 years to the passing of Ron Miner. Like I believe he was really looking down on me and like guiding me through this fucking treacherous terrain. Same I feel about DMX. Like I sat in the front row with my speech ready to go in the event we won the Grammy. We were nominated for the song Bath Salts with DMX, Nas, and Jay-Z. And unfortunately, we lost to Kanye and Jay-Z. It was Jail Part 2. But it's like, I don't take this shit for granted, bro. And it's like, you know, thank God I knew what I wanted to do from such an early age. So I had that extended period of trial and error.
For sure.
No doubt, man. M-80, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not underselling it when I say it's good to see you, bro. You know
Thank
what
you,
I'm
bro.
saying?
Thank you. I was a little under the weather today.
The kind of segue on what you spoke on earlier, man. You talked about 2019. That was the last time we featured you in Straight Official. I actually had you on the Saturday Spotlight
Thank
back
you,
when
bro.
you were an artist. So, you know, we've definitely been a part of your journey, man. That Rakim album you just showed, you know what I'm saying? We had a private listening session for that.
I
You,
remember that. I remember
you
that, dude.
actually,
That was I the
you
first time
actually
I ever played any songs on that for the public was then. And I played a single the night before when I went to coaches. Yeah, thank you for jogging my memory.
yeah, man. You
And
actually
bro,
said
that's the highlight of my whole career, bro. Executive producer Rakim album. Like nothing is bigger than that to me. Nothing will ever be bigger than that. Now it's just sustaining and doing shit that I want to do, you know, and further into hip hop culture and just, you know, providing for my family.
no doubt, man. So let's look into the book, man. So based off this title, man, title's 100 Ways I've Almost Died While Working in the Rap Industry, based on a fuck ton of true stories.
All true, baby.
Um, that's a very large yet even number in terms
Yeah.
of
Yep. And when I wrote it, I have 65 chapters with a total of I think 101 stories or 100 um spread out between 450 pages. So it fit perfectly because that was going to be the title regardless if there's actually 100 stories or not. But it turned out there's 100.
so
So,
you're actually doing something a little special with this book, man. You know, you're not taking like the normal route that most journalists, you know what I'm saying, take when
no,
they release the book. But then again, this isn't your first book, you know what I'm saying?
right. My
Actually
third.
your this is actually your third literary effort. You know, I'm still kind of reeling off your second one, Cannabis versus Disaster. There's 30 pages of rhymes in this motherfucker. Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely a great read.
I'm still reading this book.
Yeah, no, I think I was telling people, you know, I came up with the concept in 2016. It shifted a little here and there, but the last 18 months, I've really buckled down. I was writing like 40 to 80 hours a week on top of doing my actual job as an A&R. Um, it makes sense to like read like 2 or 3 chapters at a time, digest it, pick the book up the next day or, you know, when a couple days later, some shit, and digest it like that because there's so much that the eye, you know, that the people at home don't see. People who like just hate me for the sake of hating, like, oh, this guy, yeah, he's good at making phone calls and sending emails. That's his job. Like, bro, if you only fucking knew the half, dog. I've been to prison. I fucking damn near pistol whip motherfuckers to death. I fucking had to run drugs, had to run guns. I like someone told me the other day, like my favorite story is when you A&R that album in exchange for guns. But yeah, it'll be like that sometimes. Or we did that one album in exchange for like 40K in drugs from the cartel. I'm like, you know, I'll move them. Like, you know, it's like, so I couldn't have been that. I mean, I probably could have, but I attribute like my street abilities and, like my early drug dealing days and shit like that, and the trial and error of going to prison and being arrested a few times, to how I navigate in music. And you have to be thick skinned, and you have to understand that, like, if you allow yourself to be snakes, you can and will. And, in the present day, it's like, good luck getting over on me, dude. I'll find some way to fuck you back 10 times harder.
They
That's
should
it.
know now, man. They should definitely know by now. If they don't, they definitely gonna know by the end of this book, man.
And
So
we're doing a $10 off from now until December 2nd for like Black Friday and Cyber Monday and all that shit. Code O'Doyle Rules. So you click the link in my bio on Instagram, and it takes you right to the site. And for those of you at home now this is probably where you're going with that. I want eyes on the book, man. I want people to read. I want people to, we stop educating ourselves, it seems like, in a legit fashion after a certain age, other than what we learn on social media and television and just being out in the streets and shit. So I made the digital copy of the book free. You can go on the website, 800ways.myshopify.com, download it for free. You can listen to the curated playlist that's essentially the soundtrack to the book for free. That shit. I'd much rather have your attention so you understand what it takes to really be successful in the game, versus, I didn't read that because I couldn't afford it. Like, if you can, buy it, of course. But if you can't, here it is, man. So, like, I didn't do the Barnes and Noble setup, the Amazon setup that could have made me like a best-selling author and shit like that. I want the eyes on it, man. I want people to respect it and appreciate it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
we appreciate that effort too, man.
Yep.
One of the stories, that you actually have in the book, man, and this is again a testament to the shirt you're wearing, the G-Shock watch you're wearing, man. Shout out to DJ Indiana Jones, man. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
I'll be the first person to say it if nobody else from Naptown will. You know what I'm saying? I know what that man has done for not only the genre and the culture in the Circle City, but for just people in general. You know what I'm saying? Yourself included. You
Mm-hmm.
actually have a chapter that's in the book that's actually dedicated to Indiana Jones. Not being in the business of spoilers, but if you can kind of give us a brief synopsis about that chapter with Indiana Jones, and kind of take us back to a moment where he was actually that influence that you needed to not only pursue your saying your current dreams, but everything you got going on moving forward.
Jones, yeah, Jones was humongous. Like I said, I credit three men, like it's essentially two mentors and a peer. Indiana Jones was my Indiana mentor, and even after I moved from Indiana back to California, like all the big news, like, yo, I'm gonna work on this Mobb Deep album. Like, I worked on the last ever real Mobb Deep album. I think their new album's fantastic. But when P was alive, rest in peace, Prodigy, the infamous Part Two, I worked on that. Like, yo, Ron, we're thinking about like making a second disc of like these rare cuts and like leftovers and shit like that. And or he was the first person I told about working with Rakim. He was the first person to put me in shows in Broad Ripple and hook and like introduce me to people. And that was big, man. It was real big, and I'm glad we got to see each other. Probably, I mean, it was during the pandemic, a few months before he passed. But Ron meant everything to me. And in the chapter after he passed, like, Jeff, his brother, who me and Jeff knew each other. We knew each other from like pickup basketball and stuff, which is crazy because like people never see me do anything athletic. Like, and I haven't been to a gym in like 3 years, but I'm going back.
He's going back.
So Jeff had told me, like, hey, like, Ron would have. Oh, and I was with Ron when he bought the Casbah. Like, that was a big deal for Ron. I just happened to be, he was in California when that happened. We got the call, but Jeff invited me to the family funeral, and then felt like I think there was a lot of people in his ear after Ron passed, like that. My posts on social media seemed very self-serving, which I've never understood that, dude. Because when someone dies and you're making posts like in honor of your loved one, you're sharing like your experiences. Unless you're just like, rest in peace, Indiana Jones, or rest in peace, whoever. Like, when I die, please, people, be as self-serving as you fucking want. I don't care. Like, tell your stories of what I potentially meant to you, or what we did together, or whatever. So Jeff like disinvited me to the funeral, and I'm like, I'll be there, bro. Like, he's like, no, you won't be there. And I'm like, I promise you, I'm gonna fucking be there, dude. I don't give a fuck. Your mom can mourn 2 kids that day if you want to really press the issue. And the funeral started at like 10, 11 in the morning, and I got there at like 8, 9 a.m., bro. and I was the first one to see, the shit, first one to sign in. I just sat there for an hour in peace, just me and Ron. Um, and then come to find out, it was definitely like one of Ron's friends who always hated me for no reason. I met the guy like once or twice, and the guy kept running his mouth. And last I heard, his whole business got shot up, and that's really unfortunate.
Mm. Yeah, most definitely, man. Like I said,
Yep.
man.
And then of course the aftermath is like time heals all wounds, and Jeff and I are friends. But it was one of those things where it's like you're grieving in the moment. Even Ron's ex-wife, Gabby, was not pleased with me because like people are just look what M-80's posting, and like that's what you're fucking worried about.
Yeah,
You're worried about what I'm posting on social media instead of making arrangements for the decedent. And I've the only other time I've dealt with that after Ron was with the passing of Chino XL. But I've worked with many estates, and Ron and I wasn't a working relationship like that. Ron and I never broke bread on shit unless I was hiring him to DJ something for me. Like we weren't like doing albums together. We weren't brokering tours together. Ron was my genuine friend, and I've experienced that with some of Chino's family. Um, but again, I knew just like with Ron, I always did right by Chi as well. So it doesn't phase me like that. It's unfortunate, but you know, these were my closest people, and yet that's when the shit comes. But you
yeah.
never see me get any static from Abe Links's family. Rest in peace. My personal favorite MC to ever come from Naptown.
Mhm.
The likes of Nipsey Hussle, Prodigy, ODB, Sean Price, Fred the Godson. I've worked with countless people who have passed. That's the nature of the beast. But
Yeah,
it seems like the ones that were actually closest to me in life, that's where we have an issue.
yeah. Indiana
And it never
Jones.
made any sense to me.
Indiana Jones actually knew who I was before I could even introduce myself to him, and
Love that.
he
Love that.
inadvertently got me my first interview with Talib Kweli, who happens to be one of my favorite artists. He did that during Treese the year
Yep.
that was a year where Kweli, Griselda, and Sadat X came and they headlined.
Yep.
And he
Yep.
inadvertently got me a live one-on-one interview with Kweli, man. So definitely shouts out to Indiana Jones, man. So
Very cool.
he well
Indeed.
missed, bro. Double XL,
And
what you got,
when
bro?
Benny played that year, I think it was Benny and Conway. Westside was having a kid. He didn't show.
Mhm.
But literally just a week before, that's when Tan Talk 3, blew the fuck up. And a lot of people at home, especially in Indy, they don't know that I worked on that album with Benny. Like that's what really made Griselda as a whole take off. Every project I ever did before that was just limited runs of shit, 250 vinyls at Dope Media. The digital would be on Bandcamp only. We made Tan Talk 3 with the intention we're gonna sell it till we fucking can't sell it anymore.
Right.
So, I think we're on like the 10th pressing of that album. But that was a beautiful thing. Like that was the first time Benny used like my marketing team, my PR network, and then with releases from Westside and Conway, that's when they started using the same thing and integrating that into the Shady Camp as well.
No doubt, man. Double XL, throw it back to you, brother. What you got?
Man, all I will say is rest in power, you know what I mean, to the late great Indiana Jones. Besides that, man, moving forward on a lighter note, on a brighter note,
Mhm.
what besides working on the book right now, are your current works?
I just got back from New York. We're about 90% done, but I'm working on what I think is going to be one of the group best records of 2026. Fully produced by Rakim, produced,
Oh,
featuring Rakim, full length album from Corrupt from the Dog Pound and Mass Killer from Wu Tang Clan.
Mm.
We
so
recorded half on the West Coast, half on the East Coast, and it's very likely that could be a Death Row release. Huge. There'll be a world tour for that shit. I got the international tour dates with Wu Tang Clan coming next year. I got new records from Hus Kingpin, Planet Asia, Corrupt's Death Row release, executive produced by Snoop Dogg. We do tons of shit for 2026. I have 2 albums from Crooked Eye, aka King Crooked. Um, the world might get the next Rakim solo as well. So there's a lot in the pot. And I came up with an idea for my next book that I want to have ready to go by December 2026. Came up with it today.
no doubt. You want to let us in on that, or you want to keep that to the chest?
It is called Arturo Cocksmith, Legends of Wait, Tales of the Legendary Wang Slanger. And it's about my secret life as an international porn star.
Wow.
Yep.
He's a man of many faces, bro. He's a man of many
Arturo Cocksmith. Just remember that.
Wow. No doubt. So, what do you want the readers to know about your current movement, and what do we need to let them know about just to go follow and check for when it comes to Mr. M-80
For anyone
Markoff?
that's an artist or for anyone that wants to be in the business of music, I feel like my book is kind of a must read because you have to understand that none of these opportunities are just going to be handed to you. And the ones that might be handed to you aren't the ones that you want. They can't be the end game opportunities. Labels for A&R staff, I don't give a fuck if you're in California or New York. You're looking at a base pay of like 40 grand. It's not even enough to live off of. You have to essentially, like, if this is what you want to do, like to become an agent at William Morris Endeavor or CIA or the biggest town agency in the world, you have to spend 2-3 years in the mailroom. Now, if you're working the mailroom and living in California or New York, yeah, you're gonna have to have a second and third job just to sustain. But
Right.
that's how they weed out the people who really want it and don't want it. Then when you make it to junior agent or agent, yeah, 6 figures, 7 figures. So it's like figure out how I went from the first time I ever A&R made over $1 million. I got paid 2 grand. I can't tell you the last time that I clocked over less than 7 figures in a year. It's been over 4,000 days since the last time I made less than $1 grand a day. So how the fuck do you go from just wanting to be in something to building something? That's why this book is a must read, and especially for those that, like I said, you don't want to give up your artist dream. You might not want to give up like any other dreams you have. How to really balance that and build from there. And I remember doing an interview backstage. It was like 2012. I think I was doing like the Mobb Deep and Raekwon show. And it's like, if you're not willing to sacrifice everything for this, then chances are it's not for you. Like I was previously engaged when I lived in Indiana, and like, she wasn't with it. She no longer found our schedules conducive because I'm always on the go and I never had time. Like that's the kind of shit it took. Like I had to, all right, I'm sorry, I love you, but if you feel like you have to leave, you have to leave because I'm not done yet with what all I've set out to do. And my book will really help you understand the importance of like goal planning and just routing your future. Like you can't just wake up like I have the same fears and insecurities as anyone else, dude. Like at the top of the year, like what's this year coming to hold for me? Like a real estate agent might not, they might get a big check when they broker a home deal and then might go 3-4 months without. It's like, so I have those worries too. Like, but thankfully it always works out for me where it's like the work comes every time. Every album I put out, it's not a home run or a grand slam, but every record at least keeps me on base. It keeps my name in the conversation and keeps it relevant and allows more and more clients to come. And that's the beauty of it. So it's like, I never sat there and just took advice from those who maybe had similar life plights, but it didn't work out for them. I was my own inspiration. I learned from others that I felt were like, had my best interest at heart, which is very far and few. Like they say, if you can name your 5 friends on one hand, at the end of the day, you've led a successful life. Yeah, I know hundreds and thousands of fucking people, but there's a reason you see me with the same 5 friends, the same 5 artists. Like that's what's comfortable for me, and that's what makes my system like, run effortlessly, like turnkey, as they would say. So that's the importance of the book. Plus, you get to just laugh and appreciate the stories for what it is, especially, like Midwest white kid makes good on a worldly scale.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. How do people take advantage of your free A&R classes that you do?
It is so Eastern Standard Time for those in the Midwest. It's 4 p.m. and you just log on to my Instagram, Almighty M-80 Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Eastern, and tune in. What I usually do, it's an hour Q&A, and the goal is like I want people to ask me business and music questions, whether they're artists, producers, entrepreneurs, just whatever, anything in the realm of arts and entertainment. And I'm here to answer these questions for free because the answers are not readily ascertainable. Like they say, the game's to be told, sold, not told. So when I was coming up and had questions, I either have to pay attorneys or pay like executives just to get a half hour of their time to make sure I was on the right path. And I know that there's tens of thousands, if not more, people that would tune in and know about my clinic and just, like some of them are too prideful to admit that they need help. That's something big that plagues urban music. Everyone's too prideful to like admit they need help. Everyone wants to be like, I did it all. I got out the mud. No one ever
Right.
had my back. I remember after Tan Talk 3, Benny was like that. I was like, bro, it's okay to be like M-80 helped or this person helped me. Like, it does not diminish your value, it does not diminish your story at all. So it's like, I want people to know that I'm a resource that can help. And then, of course, after the clinics, I'll check my DMs. And usually there's someone that wants to hire me for a consultation, hire me to A&R their record or coordinate PR or review a contract. So it's like the money comes after the good deed's done.
No doubt.
It's not expected. It's just, it's delivered.
Yeah.
No doubt. Well, we definitely appreciate you taking the time to chop it up with Straight Official Magazine this evening. We definitely appreciate all the gems that were dropped. And we're definitely going to keep in touch with you, go into our next season for this next book and, tap into some of that A&R stuff and everything you got going on, man. Just thank you for, coming out and sharing these stories with us and, giving us a little piece of game.
Appreciate that. Everyone at home, 100ways.myshopify.com. Or if it's easier, just go on Instagram, click the link in my bio. Like I said, $10 off for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. It's valid. The code's valid now. So do yourself a favor, man. Get educated. Learn you a thing or two.
No doubt. That's all I got, Jay.
And there it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Again, man, you always do amazing shit, M-80. You know what I'm saying? Since I've came across you, man, you know what I'm saying? You always do amazing shit. The Tech Nine Strange Music Tour, man, is that coming back to Indy anytime soon?
I don't know when Tech's touring next. I mean, I'm gonna say yes, because he loves Indy, and Jesus, since me and Tech linked up in like 2009, I think we brought Tech at least 7, 8 times, if not more. And I love working with Tech, man, because of the relationship with the shows and my relationship as VP of A&R for RBC. I got to work on several of his biggest songs, including "Fragile" with Kendrick Lamar. Am I a Psycho with Hobson? He'll Go Crazy with 2 Chainz and B.O.B. All the Tech's the best, man, and he deserves all his flowers. So yeah, the Strange Tour will definitely be back. That year with Freddie Gibbs, though, was the craziest. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was most definitely a hot one, man.
Yep.
Again, man, we thank you for your time, man. We thank you for furthering our Straight Official Sit Down series, man. Always a pleasure, man, kicking in with you, man. Stay tapped in. Got any new music, man? Throw it our way. We're looking forward to featuring this, our digital pages, sooner than later. Be a nice little cap off to our 3rd season. And
for sure.
Just keep being amazing, man. Keep being amazing. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you.
I'm about 5 chapters into the book, man, and I'm in tears.
Jay, pace yourself, buddy. Pace yourself.
It's hilarious. I'm inspired already.
Thank you.
It's hilarious.
Like I was on the ED Amin podcast, the Outlaws, telling him about the Farrakhan chapter. He's like, "You have a Farrakhan chapter?" I'm like, man. Well, wild, man.
No spoilers, but yeah, there is a chapter on Farrakhan. It's in the book, so definitely tap in, man. Definitely tap in. So
I appreciate you guys, and thank you for everyone that tuned in. All right, respect.
Hey, we appreciate you too, man. So on behalf of you, DJXXL, and myself, Jay Mill, you've been witnessing another edition of the Straight Official Sit Downs, man.
Thank you, guys.
Tap in, man. www.straightofficial.com, where we celebrate hip hop, lifestyle, and culture. Get you some.